You win 1 point in tennis, the score says 15. Win another, and somehow you're at 30. A third point? 40. Not 45. 40. 1 point is worth 15, then 10. The math quietly breaks halfway through. Nobody decided this on purpose. Nobody wrote it down. Every tennis court on earth counts this way, and no one, not the umpires, not the historians, can fully agree why. Not Wimbledon, not the French Open, not the guy at your local court. They all just say it. So who looked at a simple game and decided the score should count 15, 30, 40, and then stop making sense? So here's the answer. Everyone hands you first. The clock. Picture a clock face bolted to the wall behind the court used as a scoreboard. Every point the hand jumps a quarter turn. 15 minutes, 30, 45. Game, clean, tidy, cool, mystery solved. Except the real story is so much weirder. And the clock might be lying to you because the numbers came first, long before anyone bolted a clock to a wall. Tennis started as jeu de paume, game of the palm, played barehanded in medieval France around the 12th and 13th centuries, a lot of it by monks knocking a ball around monastery courtyards. No rackets, just hands. That's where the count was born. Call it the medieval math. 15, 30, 45, shouted across a stone courtyard by guys in robes 800 years ago, in a language most of them figured everyone would speak forever. So the scoreboard didn't invent these numbers. The numbers were already there, waiting for a scoreboard to walk up and take the credit. And here's where it gets stupid. That neat clock story you just heard, it doesn't hold up. Historians who actually dug into this, so the tennis writer Malcolm Whitman laid it out in his 1932 book, Tennis Origins and Mysteries, point out that the 15, 30, 45 count shows up in the French game before clock faces with minute hands were even common. You cannot copy a clock that doesn't tick in minutes yet, so the clock probably didn't create the score. The score got dressed up in a clock costume later, because it made a confusing thing sound reasonable. You believed it because it was tidy. Tidy is not the same as true. So if not the clock, then what? Which raises a different, dumber question. Where do you even get 15? One theory says money. On the old royal tennis courts, the indoor kind kings actually played, the game we now call real tennis. People bet on points. And some accounts say the stake moved in chunks of 15. Coins, sous, deniers, whatever was on the table that night. So the score on the wall was really just the running pot. And every rally was a small bet you could watch add up. Another theory blames the base 60 system, the same ancient 60 count that hands you 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. Slice 60 into quarters and you get 15, 30, 45. Nice and even. Nobody can prove which one is right. We just know somebody, somewhere, decided a single point was worth 15 of something and then never bothered to write down why. Okay, but 40. Why does 45 collapse into 40? This one actually has a half-decent answer. When the score hits 40-40, you can't win by a single point. You have to win by 2. That stuck state got its own name, deuce, and you need somewhere to put the advantage point. So the story goes, the advantage could be pictured as nudging the score up from 40 toward 50, and to leave room for that little step, 45 got shoved back down to 40. One shove, whole system bent around it. Maybe. It's still argued. But it's the cleanest reason anyone has for why the third point quietly loses 5 and every player on earth just nods along. And the words are just as haunted. 0 in tennis is love. The popular story says it comes from the French l'œuf, the egg, because a 0 looks like an egg sitting on the scoreboard. Cute, also disputed. Some say you were playing for love, meaning for nothing, no money on the line, no stakes at all. Deuce comes from the French à deux, 2 points to go. Even tennis itself probably comes from tenez, French for take it, or here it comes, what you'd yell right before you served. So the language of your Saturday morning match is basically leftover medieval French nobody ever bothered to translate. You've been speaking it your whole life. You just never noticed. Now here's the part that should bother you. Somebody had a clean shot at fixing this. In the 1870s, lawn tennis got codified in England. Major Walter Clopton Wingfield patented a boxed-up version of the game in 1874. And the first Wimbledon Championship ran in 1877. Fresh start, blank rulebook, new sport, new country, brand new equipment. And they looked at this haunted French counting system, the medieval math, 15, 30, 40, love deuce, and kept every last bit of it. Didn't fix a thing. They inherited the confusion on purpose. And that's the actual answer. There isn't one. Every tennis court on the planet runs on a point tally that traces back to French monks, maybe a clock, Maybe a pile of coins? Maybe a 60-based number system from the ancient world. And not one person along the way could fully explain it. Not one. They kept the medieval math because ripping it out felt weirder than living with it. Fixing it would mean standing up in front of everyone and admitting nobody actually knew why it was there in the first place. Easier to just keep going. So we all kept saying 15, 30, 40, passing the confusion down like a family heirloom nobody has the heart to throw out. Don't think about that too hard. So the next time you hear an umpire call the score, listen to what you're actually hearing. 800 years of people copying the guy in front of them, nobody stopping to ask why. That's not a tennis thing. That's a human thing. We do it with holidays, with keyboards, with half the rules we live inside. We inherit the medieval math of 1,000 different things and then defend it like we picked it ourselves. You didn't choose 15, 30, 40. Nobody alive today did. We just quietly agreed a long time ago to stop asking. Now you know. Sorry.